Okay, let's look at Math Spiral Review 4. First, we want to note that it is due on Friday, September, is that 2nd? 3rd is Friday. Friday, September 3rd. Okay. And let's look at the directions together. You should have your highlighter out and ready to highlight with me. Right?
Your name.
And go ahead and put your name on it. I'm going to put my name on mine. Your name is not Mrs. Smith, so you should write your own name. We laugh, but I have had kids turn their paper in and it says Mrs. Smith at the top.
And we don't want to track you down.
No. Okay, so the first one is, these are just making comparisons. You may want to note here that the top one has the same, what do we call that bottom number in a fraction? Denominator. And the second one has the same, what do we call that number in it? Numerator. Good job. Okay, so we're looking for equivalent fractions. Shall we just take a moment here and review with our equivalent fractions chant? I'd like to see everybody's hands together, ready to clap it out with me. Are we ready?
So I'm not going to do it.
Well, everyone's going to do it. You can repeat after me. To find equivalent fractions, but we like to do our clap. To find equivalent fractions, multiply or divide the numerator and denominator by the same number. Okay, let's all do it together again. To find equivalent fractions, multiply or divide the numerator and denominator by the same number. Okay, so I will do one example here with you. What did they multiply 2 by to get 8? 2 times what equals 8? Harper? 4. So if we multiply the denominator by 4, what should I multiply the numerator by? Ella?
4.
Right, the same number. Okay, so that should be pretty easy to know what goes here in place of that question mark. And then you're going to do the same thing for the second one. Okay, please don't move on until I'm ready. Okay, I'm looking at the adding and subtracting of fractions. You could just highlight that one is adding and one is subtracting. Here we're going to name the shaded part of this fraction. That's pretty easy to do as a fraction. That's something we've been doing a long time. And then we're going to name it as a decimal. And I want to talk for a minute about decimals. Okay? Who can tell me, actually, let's just go through this one together. What is the fraction for this shaded part of that circle, Owen? 1/4. And then I want to talk about a synonym for 1/4. Who knows what a synonym for 1/4 is? It's something maybe your mom and dad say. It's something that has to do with money. Like we could say it when we're talking about a time, like it's this much past the hour, it's this much past 5 o'clock, or it's this much till 5 o'clock. What do we say? Trista?
I use it for baking. Like, so, some numbers like that I use for baking.
Right, well, that is a time when we definitely use fractions is for baking. If you make a recipe, you might use 1/4 of a cup of something. I want to know a synonym for 1/4. Another word that means 1/4. Dane? Think of money. Quarter. 1/4 equals a quarter. Those are synonyms. When you hear someone say, oh, it's 1/4 till 12, that means it's 1/4 of an hour before 12 o'clock. When we have a quarter that is a coin, that is 1/4 of a dollar. Okay, and the reason that's important is because how much is a quarter equal to? What is a quarter equal to? 25 cents. Who knows how to write 25 cents as a decimal? Cordelia? Close. That's 2 5/10. It's you're close. Caden?
0.25.
0.25. It's 25 hundredths. A fourth is equal to 25 hundredths. A dollar is 25 hundredths of a dollar. A quarter is 25 hundredths of a dollar. It's made up of 25 pennies. Each penny is a hundredth of a dollar, right? So 25 pennies would be 25 hundredths of a dollar. We could call it a fourth of a dollar or a quarter of a dollar. So if you can think about that 1/4 in relation to money, that is a pretty easy conversion to remember. Okay? Okay, we've been doing area and perimeter for a while. It's important to remember on our perimeter that this rectangle has 4 sides, not 2. Okay, and then we have our geometry. Highlight where it says use a ruler or straight edge. If you do not use a ruler or straight edge, you're going to lose points. We will not count it correct. Also, give yourself a note that you can use the blue geometry sheet. It should be in your math folder. Okay, and it will give you an example of how to draw parallel and perpendicular lines. Okay, here's mine. Okay, you have a blue sheet as well, and here's perpendicular and parallel lines. Okay? Okay, Celia writes this addition problem that's shown below. She says she can tell which sum, that's a math action word, let's put a box around it, will be greater without adding. How does Celia know? Okay, so we need to look at these 2 problems, and we need to write Celia knows, and then whichever problem will be greater because. And then you need to come up with a way to explain how does Celia know which one will be greater. Okay, so I already gave 2 freebies. Raise your hand and I'll give you 1 more freebie today. Carter Thompson. The whole problem solving? Even though I just gave you that big hint? Okay, let's look at it. The first add-ins, those are called add-ins, are the same, aren't they? They're 7,148. The second add-ins are different. So which one can you look at and tell me which one's going to give you the greater sum? 7,148 plus 164 or 7,148 plus 519? Which one will give you a greater sum? Gracie?
700 or 7,148 plus 500.
How did you know?
Because 519 is bigger than 148.
Excellent. So I'm putting in, this is really called an expression because it doesn't have an equal sign. So it's not a number, sentence, or equation. Celia knows 7,148 plus 519 will be greater because, can we use a math term? What did I say those 2 numbers are called that we're adding together? Addend. The second addend and then we can say 519 is greater in the second problem. We could have also said because 519 is greater than 164. Okay? We always want to try to use our math vocabulary words when we're writing about math. Okay, are there any other questions about this page? Any other questions, Alex?
I don't have a ruler.
Well, you'll need to get one out of the orange basket up there, but not right now, but when you're ready to do that problem. Okay, put this and your daily problem solving in your red math folder. Oh, you need a second? Okay.